In a quiet rural hospital on the outskirts of Georgia, 34 years ago, twin babies were born under unusual circumstances. Their names were Lily and Liam, and from the moment they entered the world, they were different. Both had pale white skin, hair as bright as snow, and striking light blue eyes that seemed to glow when the sunlight touched them. The nurses whispered, shocked to see two newborns with such features. Their mother, a young woman named Rosa, looked terrified, not of her children, but of the world they were being born into. Rosa knew her husband, a stern farmer with old-fashioned beliefs, would never understand. In a time and place where anything different was feared, she worried these babies would be treated as cursed. Her fears came true faster than she expected. When her husband walked into the hospital room and saw the twins, his face turned cold. He accused her of betrayal, of bringing shame to his family. No matter how much Rosa cried or pleaded, he wouldn't listen. 2 days later, Rosa vanished from the hospital, leaving behind a note that simply said, "I'm sorry. They deserve better." The twins were found abandoned in the hospital nursery, wrapped in thin blankets, with no one to claim them. Social services stepped in. The babies were taken to a crowded orphanage, where they were nicknamed the Ghost Twins. Growing up wasn't easy for Lily and Liam. Other kids avoided them, whispering that they brought bad luck. They were constantly teased, mocked for their white hair and pale skin. Some adults even refused to touch them, afraid of what they didn't understand. But through all the cruelty, the twins had each other. They were inseparable. When one cried, the other held on tight. When one got punished, the other refused to eat until both were forgiven. Their bond was unbreakable, the only thing that kept them strong. When Lily turned 10, she started to show an incredible gift. She had a voice that could silence a room, pure, emotional, and haunting. The orphanage staff noticed, and one day a local church invited her to sing during service. People were stunned. For the first time, the twins weren't being mocked, they were being admired. Liam, meanwhile, had a natural gift for drawing. He could sketch anything he saw in perfect detail, from the cracks on the orphanage walls to the expressions on people's faces. His drawings told stories that words couldn't. Years passed, and when they turned 16, a kind couple named the Whitakers visited the orphanage. They couldn't have children of their own, and something about the twins' quiet nature touched their hearts. They adopted Lily and Liam together, moving them into a small but warm home near Atlanta. For the first time, the twins had their own rooms, their own beds, and people who hugged them every morning. Life finally started to feel normal. The Whitakers supported their talents. Lily joined the local choir and later began performing at small events. Liam's drawings began winning art contests at school. But even with this new life, the twins couldn't escape the shadows of their past. Some classmates still mocked their appearance, calling them snow ghosts or white shadows. Lily often cried at night, wondering if they'd ever truly belong. Liam would sit beside her, sketching stars on her wall to remind her that even darkness couldn't hide light. After high school, Lily earned a scholarship to study music, while Liam studied fine arts. Their bond remained strong, though they followed separate dreams. Lily started performing in local clubs, her voice gaining attention from producers who loved her unique tone. Liam began painting large portraits that spoke of loneliness, resilience, and beauty. One of his most striking pieces was of two small children holding hands in a gray world, clearly a reflection of their past. But life took a tragic turn when Liam was diagnosed with a rare vision disorder that threatened to leave him blind. It was devastating news. The doctors said it was genetic and couldn't be stopped. As his sight began to fade, Liam stopped painting. He didn't want anyone to see his weakness. Lily begged him not to give up, reminding him that art was part of who he was. But Liam only smiled and said, "Maybe my eyes are closing so I can see the world differently." Lily decided to dedicate her music to her brother. Every song she wrote was inspired by their journey. Songs about light and darkness, about being different but worthy. Her performances grew more emotional, and soon, one of her live recordings went viral online. People from around the world began to share her story. The girl who sang for her blind brother, the abandoned twins who never gave up. She was invited to perform on television, where she told the story of their childhood, their struggles, and their unbreakable bond. The nation was moved. Donations poured in for Liam's treatment. Doctors from around the world offered to help. A new experimental surgery gave him a small chance to regain his sight. Lily was by his side every moment. The surgery was risky and expensive, but she didn't care. She sold her car, her instruments, and even performed on the streets to raise the remaining funds. When the day of the surgery came, Lily held his hand until the anesthesia took him under. She sat outside the operating room for hours, praying silently. When the doctor finally came out and said, "It worked. He'll see again," she collapsed into tears. A few weeks later, when Liam's bandages were removed, his first sight was his sister's face. Older, tear-streaked, but glowing with love. He whispered, "You're even brighter than I imagined." The video of that moment went viral too. Reporters flooded their doorstep, and soon, the twins became symbols of hope. Their story caught the attention of a major news network, which produced a documentary titled The Albino Twins: From Abandonment to Inspiration. It told their life story, from the orphanage to their reunion, from pain to triumph. The documentary received millions of views, spreading awareness about albinism and the discrimination people with it still face. The twins used their fame to start a foundation supporting abandoned and special needs children. They traveled across the country, speaking at schools and events, reminding people that being different isn't a curse, it's a calling. They even returned to the orphanage where they once lived, donating new beds, books, and art supplies. The kids there cheered as Lily sang and Liam painted murals on the walls. But their story didn't end there. Years later, when they turned 34, something extraordinary happened. A letter arrived, written in shaky handwriting. It was from Rosa, their birth mother. She had seen their documentary and had been living in silence for decades, consumed by guilt. The letter explained everything. How she had been forced to leave them, how she never stopped thinking about them, how she watched from afar when they became famous. Lily cried when she read it. Liam sat quietly, his eyes glistening. After a long conversation, they decided to meet her. When they finally did, the reunion was emotional. Rosa was older, frail, with tears that never seemed to stop. She fell to her knees, apologizing, saying she didn't deserve forgiveness. But Lily knelt beside her, taking her hands, saying, "You gave us life, and that's enough." Liam added, "We wouldn't be who we are without what happened. The pain made us strong." They embraced for a long time, three souls connected by blood and forgiveness. The moment was captured in a photo that later became one of Liam's final paintings. He titled it "Found." Now, decades after being abandoned, the albino twins live as symbols of light and resilience. Lily continues to sing, her music healing others who feel unseen. Liam runs art therapy workshops for children with disabilities, teaching them that beauty comes from perspective, not perfection. Together, they've changed countless lives. And when they look back at their journey, the loneliness, the rejection, the cruel words, they no longer feel anger. They feel gratitude. Because through all the pain, they found purpose. Lily once said in an interview, "People used to look at us and see what was wrong. Now, they look and see what's right. We didn't change who we were. The world just learned to see better." Today, when they walk hand in hand at charity events, cameras flashing and crowds cheering, they carry the memory of that cold hospital room where it all began. The abandoned albino twins who were once called cursed now bring blessings wherever they go. Their story reminds us that no matter where we start, love and resilience can turn even the darkest beginnings into something beautiful. Because sometimes, being different isn't the curse the world says it is. It's the light that shows others the way.